Warning, we are a spoiler-based podcast. At times, we are also an offensive podcast, and we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. This is your final warning.
Alright, we are back for another episode of Cinematic Anarchy.
Yeah!
With me to my left, we have our mainstays, Mr. Omar.
Yes, sir.
And Miss B.
Hello!
And I am Chris El Jefe, whatever the fuck you want to call me. And today we are going to be touching on a few sensitive subjects for a lot of sensitive people, so,
Woo!
you know, in all honesty, if you're the butthurt type, you might as well just click that stop button right now, because you're going to get butthurt.
Yeah,
you
things.
And, of course, before we get started, we are primarily an entertainment podcast. We are going to go ahead and discuss the wonderful 2015 film from 1997.
Motherfucking Turbo Kid!
Turbo Kid. This was an 80s movie done in 2015 about a post-apocalyptic land in 1997. If that didn't hurt your brain a little bit. It is I love the movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic fucking movie.
It's fucking amazing.
All the actors, especially Lawrence LaBouffe, Apple.
Yep.
The manic pixie cyber teen in the movie, which was
I love her so much. I want to be her friend.
Apple.
She was like over the top happy the entire movie. Even got shot, still happy. Head cut off, still happy.
Fucking eccentric.
Yeah, it was. She was a friendship model.
Well, she kind of approached the world like I just one of those little kids that have nothing has ever happened to them that was bad in the world.
Yep.
You know, just one of those very, very sheltered kids that just everything makes them happy. Every new thing is amazing.
Yep.
Her gnome stick, she was very happy with the gnome stick.
Feel the wrath of Mr. Gnome!
So did anybody feel like this particular movie was sort of a BMX bike commercial?
A little bit.
In a way.
Main mode of transportation through the entire movie. BMX bikes, of course, we have the Nintendo Power Glove as the main weapon for Turbo Kid. Who emulates himself after Turbo Rider. And if Omar will stop throwing the pops around the room... Who was that? Was that 11
Tisk.
that you threw? I don't even know who that is.
Shame on you.
I know.
It's
The
somebody.
disrespect.
Somebody with a gun. We have pops
She
everywhere.
fell on her head, so she probably almost died, as the head is most of the body.
Okay, well, anyway. You're going to stare at the pop until you figure out who it is, aren't you? There's only one person that could really tell me who it is. Alex is in the other room.
Exactly.
Those are his pops.
Woo.
Vast majority of them, anyway. And that was Miss B kicking the microphone.
Yep, my bad.
It happened.
We are in cramped quarters. We're working towards a slightly larger studio space. We'll get back to the movie. We'll talk about that another time. So we'll start with the normal question. How did everybody feel about the movie?
I fucking love this movie.
So, I wanted to dislike it, but I loved it. Turns out I've seen bits and pieces of this movie before. I just never saw the start of it, so I never knew the name of it.
Okay.
But I have seen bits and pieces of it, but I liked it. I never thought it was from that recently, until I really, read on it and did a little reading while I was watching. I kept going back to the trivia stuff. But it was a good movie. It was pretty campy for an action film and pretty action for a comic film.
Okay.
It was very balanced, and the entertainment was there because you had stuff you could laugh about, but you had stuff that was like straight action.
I got a little bit of like the Book of Eli vibe.
Yeah. Also.
So just before we...
Like, with every other post-apocalyptic film ever made.
Right, because, I mean, the Book of Eli actually took from a lot of different post-apocalyptic films as well. I was pointing out, just before we actually hopped on the mic here while we started our live Facebook feed, that I kind of got the vibe of, like, several different 80s films in there. Everything from we got Frederic, the arm wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was sort of a mashup between Crocodile Dundee and Indiana Jones.
You're right.
The first kill that Turbo Kid made was actually heavily... That design, you could tell, was heavily from the Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
And I got little bits and pieces of different things here and there. Everything from Mad Max on to, the wizard with the power glove.
I don't know if you guys saw when she was pouring the cereal, the name of the cereal. That's so familiar to me. There was a movie called Soylent Green, is a Green Sun.
Right.
From 73.
Yes.
And basically that was a shout out to that movie.
Also, the fact that the water, he mentions partway through the movie, by the way, the water, it's people.
Yep.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much the water, yeah.
The water is people.
That throws in the tank girl vibe.
The tank girl vibe with, them using the bodies as water.
Yep.
And I got a lot of that vibe. I really did. Like that Lori Petty vibe from Apple.
Yes, I love her so much!
Yeah, it was dope. They have a lot of stuff there, but not a lot of goofs. I was expecting like more stuff that went wrong while making it, but I guess it went pretty smooth because only say that audiovisual unsynchronized. When the kid and Apple plan to go scavenging, and the kid spins the front wheel of his BMX bike, you hear the clicking of the derailleur gears, which his bike doesn't even have on its real wheel.
Right, because that's more of a mountain bike thing than a...
Yeah.
So I wanted to just ask, I guess, what you thought the most ridiculous moment in the movie was. Because this movie was filled with just ridiculousness from beginning to end.
The most ridiculous moment? Oh my god.
It was filled with ridiculous moments.
I have one in particular that just stood out.
Okay.
End fight scene in the movie. Whole lot of fighting, whole lot of gore going on, and you get this guy who ends up with the lower half of somebody else stuck on top of his
like
head.
There's 6 people like piled up on each other. The bottom guy's just like walking around. What's going on? Like,
there was a 6-stacker.
Right, you got the one guy with the lower torso, then the lower torso, then the lower torso of several different people just kind of stacked on top of his head.
It began as a short stack. It ended up as a tall stack.
Like a stack
of pancakes.
Oh my god, I love that shit.
Like a stack of human leg pancakes.
I love when he was making his weapon at the bunker.
Right?
The hammer?
The hammer, yes.
I guess he found another hammer. I guess I'm going to just make this a double hammer.
Tape a hammer to a hammer and...
He was really crafty and creative. He was a very resourceful little kid.
This is also, I believe, like a commercial for duct tape. There was a lot of duct tape in this movie.
He kept duct taping things all over the place.
The girl's head was duct taped back on at the end of the movie.
Yeah, also. And she was chilling with her duct tape.
Yeah, man.
And of course, one of my main... sorry, there we go. Tripped over my tongue once again. Okay, one of my mainstay favorite villains in most 80s movies, 90s movies, 2000s. He's just been a good villain in tons of different movies. Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
Zeus. I'm glad to see that they're still using him, because he was fantastic as the villain in this movie.
Yeah, he was.
And how did Turbo Kid not catch on to the fact that he might have been a robot, like, initially? Like, that power glove is blowing through people left and right, like, just exploding people. He hits him once with a charge, and he just kind of falls to the ground, electrocuted. You know, you knew there was going to be a final battle with him in it. He didn't get severed.
This fucking... I couldn't get past the part where, like, the guy with the fucking mask that has, like, the saw thing on his hand.
Yeah.
Fucking... Okay, so, like, he gets to the couple with their little barrel of water, right? And, like, he slices this bitch in fucking... Or this dude in fucking pieces, right? His fucking saw comes out, like, 3 inches away from his hand. Like, there's no fucking way that he could have sawed through a whole person with 2 swipes.
No. There would have been a little bit more effort involved.
So another thing about the movie is that things were added to the storyline at the last minute. It was supposed to be in the desert, and deserts have no rain.
Right.
So the acid rain thing was pretty much added because there was really nothing they could do, and they were on a timeline.
Yeah.
So it was added like last minute. I guess we're gonna call this acid rain, and let's deal with this shit.
It fucking worked.
Like any good 80s movie.
Huh?
Like any good 80s movie. If something changes, you change on the fly, you just roll with it.
Yeah. Yep. This was basically an 80s movie done in 2015.
That's exactly what it was.
So apparently 1997 was a shit show for this world. We've recovered well, I think.
It was a shit show indeed.
I feel like 1997 is coming again. But that's just me. We'll talk about that later, too.
I think it's 1984 that's coming now.
Ah, okay. I see where you went with that, too.
1984. This is where we are.
You've read the book? 1984?
Nope.
Or seen the movie?
No.
Oh, you should. It will remind you a lot of right now.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually, it's almost prophetic at this point.
Yeah. I've been catching up on Handmaid's Tale, which is, you know, pretty on par with what's happening right now.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, you could almost call it Nostradamus level prophetic.
Okay.
That book at this point.
Yeah, 1984 will remind you of now.
Yeah,
it's not a long read, but it's very, very densely packed with stuff that just...
It's a lot of kicks in the chest in that book.
It wouldn't have worried me in 1984. It kind of worries me now.
Yeah.
Almost 2020.
Well, basically because in 1984, things didn't look the way they look now. And anybody who read the book before 1984 will be like, oh, we'll be fine.
Oh, we are officially in the future that Blade Runner was supposed to give us at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
We are past Back to the Future.
Yep. We passed a lot of movies that tried to predict the future. And
yep.
You remember Buck Rogers? Buck Rogers in the year 2025? We're almost there, too.
Yeah.
If I don't see a roaring 20s party for New Year's Eve, I'm gonna lose my shit!
I mean, why not? Really?
I know, right? Fucking, like, the fucking dancing and the music.
I just hope the 20s are roaring. These 20s.
Yeah.
Revolt!
Yeah, we're gonna need that
Yeah.
soon. Okay. So, any closing thoughts on the movie? I mean, we've talked about it. There's a lot to talk about there. I mean, we could go on for a while, but I feel...
their little, like, arena thing and fucking, like...
Yeah.
Homeboy's giving them their little pep talk, and he looks at fucking Apple, and Apple's like, oh no, this is my gnome stick. He's like, alright, I'm gonna need you to hit this guy as hard as you fucking can with that shit. She's like, yes, sir! Fucking, what is it? Feel the wrath of Mr. Gnome!
Starts beating the crap out of him, and he's just back there like, yeah, I guess that was our cue.
Time.
Guess that was our cue right there. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, gnome time.
And of course, you know, the numbnut, they do the thing that most movies do, or even Star Trek did back then. You have the one odd guy out.
Yeah.
Nobody really recognizes, and he just immediately runs forward, trips, stabs himself in the eye with his weapon. It's like, well, did Mama
There's always one.
Did Mama ever tell you not to run with scissors, or in that particular case, a screwdriver or all?
No, because this is the post-apocalypse, and you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Safety doesn't matter.
This was a lot more gory than I initially thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of blood in this movie.
Fucking this guy gets like his top half blown off, and there's just like a water fountain of blood spewing
right.
from his legs.
Yeah, there was a lot of many other post-apocalyptic movies, like you say. It's like a whole bunch went in, one came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they really were kind of paying homage to the post-apocalyptic movies of the 80s and kind of the 90s.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of the vibe that I got from Michael Ironside, I kind of got from I want to say Tina Turner's character in Thunderdome.
In Thunderdome, yeah, it was like the same, gloom.
Now I question whether or not Frederic was actually Australian.
Yeah.
Because
the cowboy, the arm wrestling guy?
the arm wrestling cowboy. The one-handed arm wrestling cowboy at one point.
They cut his hand.
But, like, his accent kind of waxed and waned throughout the movie.
Yeah.
So you get a bit of an American accent, a bit of an Australian accent. The Australian accent only seemed to come out when he was emphasizing certain words.
Yeah.
So,
Well, mate, once you fall from kangaroos enough...
Kangaroos.
The kangaroos, their accents don't fluctuate.
So, yeah, I was kind of questioning whether or not he was truly Australian. I actually didn't research at all whether or not he's...
I don't think he is, and I didn't believe they're Australian at all.
This is a Canadian film.
But it was Canadian and New Zealand, Canada and New Zealand collaboration, basically. But, yeah, I mean, I still enjoyed the character, but I didn't believe they're Australian.
I am finding
yeah, you
out
saw
on
that
IMDb.
too. You're gonna find that out. So you did see that. The Soleil Vert.
Watch him be Australian for real.
The Soleil Vert, which is Green Sun, that's the French name of the Soylent Green movie from 1973. You were saying that.
Born in Auckland, New Zealand.
Auckland, New Zealand. Okay.
Close enough.
Close enough?
So he's about as Australian as our good old Lucy Lawless is.
Yeah.
You got the accent, not necessarily the geographic location.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, all in all, I enjoyed this movie. I'm not sure why it didn't get more fanfare than it did at the time.
I know, right? This shit is fucking amazing.
If you like Tank Girl, you'd love this movie. As
Yes.
I want to say, like, same vibe almost all the way through. And I feel like Apple was more of I want to say a central character than even the kid was throughout most of the movie.
Apple made the movie what it was.
She dominated, like, every scene that she was in. So, yeah, that's why I said, like, the manic pixie thing. She had those eyes are just, like, always, like,
my God.
really, like, surprised at everything. And she made light out of even the most miserable parts of the day. So
By playing tag.
let's play tag. You're it. Just runs.
I gotta tell you something. You're it. Ah!
And I like that she just kind of slapped him with that slap bracelet he couldn't remove. So why'd you put this on me? Oh, so I can keep track of you wherever you go. Whoa.
I mean, why didn't that, like, set off a whole, like, she's probably a fucking robot?
Well, I mean, he probably didn't run across a whole lot of robots.
Probably not.
What he was doing. Mm-hmm. Though, apparently, it was a fairly prominent thing before the shit hit the fan in 1997.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have full-on human-like robots.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I mean, I'm all set with fucking AI, man.
Sadly enough, the most human-like robots that they have out there right now are primarily used for sex toys.
Yeah, that... yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you've seen the Good Boys movie at all?
I don't think so.
Which
Have
one?
you not? Good Boys?
No.
Oh, good lord, watch it.
What is it about?
It's...
That response is making me not want to watch it.
It's not... Okay, no, it's not trauma. We're not... I'm not strapping you into another trauma thing.
I don't know, man.
It's basically, think of it like I want to say watered down, but it has sort of the same edge that Big Mouth does to it.
Oh my god.
It's a couple of kids kind of coming into their own and just they run across things that they are obviously not just not prepared for mentally. Like, this one kid runs across his mother's, like, sex toy stash.
Oh my god.
And thinks that they're, like, weapons.
Oh my god!
And he finds a particularly beautiful set of beads that he gives to his girlfriend. And you see this point in the movie, he hands the beads to the girl. He's like, it's a necklace. They're anal. And she goes to put them around her neck and just sniffs for a minute. I think maybe I'll put these on later.
Later
oh my god!
But no, it is a fantastic movie. It is funny as hell. Yeah, I think you guys would enjoy that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not trauma. We don't go into
Thank
that
God.
territory. But it's grade school kids, like 11-year-olds that don't quite know what's going on. Like, they're running across things that they've never experienced before, so it's like these kids kind of stumbling naively through life. There's a lot of cussing in that movie. A lot. So that is definitely not an 80s film, because you can't get a 12-year-old to cuss in an 80s film. It just doesn't work.
It's true.
Well, not a lot of them. There were a couple.
You had your one or two.
Yeah. But for the most part, nobody wanted to see little kids cuss in the 80s at all. It's like, no, we can't have them do that. Oh my god.
God forbid.
You need to censor that right now. And now it's like, well, kids cuss anyway. Might as well just let them do it. Make an entire movie about naive kids cussing. And there we go. Good boys. So we're going to take a very quick break for our sponsor, and we're going to roll into Tea with Honey and Tea Time with Honey. Tea Time with Honey. And we have something set up for Soundtrack Anarchy today, or
I thought we were going to talk about what soundtrack would be best for the movie.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. Okay, and Soundtrack Anarchy. We will be back.
Woo!
So, back from our bit of station identification, sponsorship, whatever, and seeing as the Turbo Kid movie was so appropriate to the dystopian world that we're slowly sliding into,
yep,
we're going to go ahead and hand this over to
all right.
Miss B.
Welcome back to Tea Time with Honey. Spill the tea, bitch. Okay, so Trump's first impeachment fucking hearings. Oh my god.
Yeah, that has been enjoyable.
Oh my god. Okay, so like so far it's like the first hearing was mostly just like he said she said bullshit, and like the fucking Republicans come out and start talking about Hillary's emails and like, what the fuck does Hillary have to do with any of this shit? We're talking about Trump. We're trying to impeach Trump. Fuck this guy and his whole goddamn administration.
Okay, so you got to see part 1, then I saw part 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so you haven't seen the second?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So I was brushing up on the wrong thing. You're talking about...
Okay, so like, no, like chime in, fucking pull in the fucking second part.
So I'll bring my second, what I watched up, and you talk about what you saw.
Yeah, dude, fucking, so like, I was sitting at my desk at work for a good, like, 2 hours watching the fucking impeachment hearing, and I just, like, I'm blown away by how fucking stupid these politicians are.
Yeah, they can be pretty thick-headed.
Like, they've got all these records, and they've got fucking all this shit, but it's all he said, she said. There's no actual fucking written statements. There's no, like, this is all from, like, fucking this dude's memory and some shit. And, like,
so how did we just start talking about Hillary's emails now?
Well, that's been a matter of contention.
That's been a go-to for the fucking Trump supporters since 2016.
It's a smoke screen that they throw up every time something hits the fan for them.
Exactly.
Well, why are we paying attention to this and not the emails? And
Not emails. We paid attention to the emails for a minute. You don't remember she had to testify to the Senate about the emails? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
But yeah,
like, we went through that whole issue.
We've been through that. We're on your guy now.
So much to the chagrin of the ladies and gentlemen that live in my house, I took over the entire living room to watch the second part of the hearings for the impeachment. So you got to see the old men tap dancing around the old men, and I got to see them speak to the Ukrainian diplomat that they had.
Okay, see, like, I didn't get to see that part. fucking...
Well, there was really no reason for her to be there. So, I mean, yes, there's, like, she should have been there for a little bit.
Yeah, no, she needed to be there just because, like, she played a role in what the fuck is happening with this whole issue. And the only reason, like, after all the fucked up shit that Trump's done, after everything, they're going after him for trying to collude with Ukraine for fucking investigating the Bidens.
Okay. So the lady that I'm talking to is former Ukraine, or ambassador to the Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, who was actually pulled out of the Ukraine back in July. Basically...
And Ukraine's dealing with their own war right now with Russia.
I think what they're trying to set up with her, what the gist that I got... there was that one call that they keep touching on, the call where he spoke to them and he was trying to talk about the Bidens and checking into that whole thing.
And the only reason they're trying to fucking get dirt on the Bidens is because Joe Biden is running for fucking president next year.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's all it is. He's trying to fucking rig another election.
Yeah.
He's trying to pull in outside sources to rig a United States election, which is, again, fucking treason! Ha! After all the fucked up shit that Trump has done, they're going after him for this fucking shit! Are you kidding me?
I said at the beginning of the podcast, people were going to get butthurt if they listened to us.
Yeah,
I have no love for Trump. Like, Trump the entertainer was one thing, and he was kind of an a-hole back when he was doing his thing. Trump the president.
He was grabbing teenage Miss Universe fucking contestants by the pussy and walking in on them dressing in their fucking little dressing room, half naked.
He was one of...
There are multiple accounts of him molesting and fucking sexually assaulting young girls.
He was one of several hundred, probably, you could probably mark it in the thousands, to be honest with you.
He was involved
toxic males in the entertainment industry who were able to pay their way out of multiple counts of different, whether it be sexual assault, rape.
He was deeply involved with Epstein's fucking sex cult. Are you kidding me?
And it's because of a certain amount of wealth. $100 says
that fucking Trump was the reason Epstein got fucking killed.
Yeah.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
I want you on the podcast next week, so don't go pissing off the wrong people. Just saying.
I'll piss everyone off. I don't give a fuck. Come at me, bitch.
You did enough to piss people off on TikTok.
I know, right? Fucking my whole account got deleted.
Bring
it back up, though.
If you are following us on Facebook, or if you are a TikToker that followed us on Facebook, Miss Honey will be back. We'll just we'll advise you where to go look once she has everything back up and running.
I have my second account.
All right.
Well, third account. I have my third backup. It's honey.b.kind.
Honey.b.kind. Okay.
2 E's, like Bumblebee or Honeybee.
I mean, I don't like the fact that TikTok pulls you down and doesn't really advise you of what might have been the reason for it.
That's exactly what it is. Like, they pull down your videos and they pull down your account, but they don't give you a reason, and they don't answer their emails, and they stole my fucking money. I had $115 in that fucking account, and it's all gone. I can't touch it. I can't do shit with it. All these people wasted fucking, okay, so TikTok takes 75% of gift points.
Right.
And then gives you the other fucking 25%.
Which is unlike a lot of different apps, because it's the other way around usually.
Yeah.
They take 25% and you get the majority of it.
Yeah, no, TikTok takes the majority and then gives you a fucking, a crumb of what people send to you. And it's severely fucked up. Fucking China runs the app, so they don't give a shit about, the freedom of speech bullshit. And,
fuck your freedom!
Yeah, fuck your freedom! Pretty much. God. It sucks. But, I'm addicted to the app, and I'm not going to stop making these videos, because, the TikTok right now is the best version of an app like this that we can get. And, there's another couple of apps,
Just not quite TikTok.
I can't even remember what the other one was.
Yeah, there's a reason.
That's how, fucking forgettable these apps are. But, TikTok is, it's out there. There's a huge, group of people that use the app.
It's a huge platform, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a mashup between Dub Smash and Vine.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, anyway.
I miss when TikTok used to be Musical.ly, when we actually had a say in what, like, when we actually had freedom of speech, and when we actually had fucking access to our shit, and we could easily change our account information.
And it's not like those videos are gone. They own them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you told me that people have been using your audio for videos that you can't even access anymore.
That's exactly what it is. It's fucked up!
Oh my god.
So they take your money, they take all of your hard work, and basically leave you with nothing, but they're still using all of that.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Fucking, like, they...
Somebody please develop something worth a damn that won't take your shit down just because.
Well, you know why China owns the app right now, right? Because
Chinese
whoever
government?
it was that was running Musical.ly decided, well, money was more important than...
Yep, and they sold it.
Than art.
And
Yeah.
it became TikTok.
That's why a lot of people make apps. They make apps for that quick buck, and then they sell it off to somebody else that's going to use it. Hey, look, I made this thing. How much is it worth to you?
Yep. Fucking, like, they snuck into the community guidelines that they can steal your videos for their advertisements, and they don't have to give you compensation, they don't have to give you any credit, and that's it. And they just fucking take people's videos, and they don't give any fucking recognition to them. And you know how when you save a TikTok video, it has the person's screen name in the corners?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. When they take your videos, they get rid of that. So, like, people can't even look you up on the fucking app if they use your video for their ads.
Nice. Well...
That's some fucking shit, man!
I'm not surprised. I really am not.
No.
Yes,
pretty much
I mean, I'm not surprised either,
giving them
but-
tools to make money that you get none of.
I had such a huge platform on my first account, and then fucking, like, I got up to 12,000 like, just over 12,000, 12,200, and fucking, that account got taken down. Now I'm at, like, 300 and something followers, and I'm, like, slowly getting back up there. It's only been a couple of days, and I'm already at 300, but, like... like, I hate that this shit means so much to me.
Yeah.
You had a lot more on,
Well, you've invested a lot into it.
Yeah,
in terms
dude, like...
of time and energy.
Between the two accounts that got deleted, I've lost over 1,000 videos.
Are you able to save your videos to your phone at all?
I mean, I can save my videos to my phone, but that takes up so much space.
Okay.
And it's over 1,000 videos. I can barely have, like, fucking 400 pictures on my phone without it going slow.
Do you have a laptop?
Nope.
Anything like... Okay. Because my thought was going to be this. If you could get, like, an external hard drive and...
See, that's why I want to get myself an iPad for, like, Black Friday or whatever. Fucking, like, start saving all my shit onto that as, like, a backup.
Definitely. The first thought in my head was actually something I believe one of the other TikTokers that used to, or were following you before you got pulled down, had actually mentioned, is that I would save your videos to your phone and actually offload them into, like, a YouTube page.
Yeah. I mean, I don't use YouTube very much right now for, like, posting. Actually, I don't use YouTube to post at all. But, I want to get, like, a decent camera with a microphone and, like, a ring light and, like, have the nice little fucking setup, get a backdrop and all that shit before I actually start posting on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's a pretty penny.
That is.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at pretty much the same thing. I'm looking to get a decent high-definition webcam, ring light, so on and so forth, for our own purposes as well.
Yeah.
So, and we have a little bit of money. We don't have a lot. That's actually part of what I'm looking to get the Kickstarter up for. So once we get this equipment up and going, you're more than welcome to use it anytime you need to.
Good shit. I have a friend who was talking to me, and they were like, telling me that they have this $800 camera that they never use and they don't know how to use. Like, they want to use it for, like, YouTube videos or and whatnot. And they're just like, I feel like you're going to get a lot more use out of this than I would. And I'm sitting here like, I will legitimately have a heart attack if you try and just give me an $800 camera. Like, at least let me give you some tattoos for it. Oh my god.
True.
They just recently gave Ren a camera at work, which was like a $800 like Canon Rebel
nice
like DSLR camera.
Yeah.
I think it was like T6i or something, one of the more recent models.
I wouldn't know.
She's used it maybe 3 times.
Oh my god.
And so it just kind of sits under her bed.
Yeah.
Sorry about smacking you in the leg there.
Abuse!
Really trying not to smack people around during the podcast, but it just happens. No, I as much as I'm pissed off about what happened to you on TikTok, we need to get back to the subject.
Yeah! Things!
So, I think...
Oh, who was it? We had a drag queen show up to the first hearing. Pissy Miles.
Okay.
She showed up, fucking flawless, fabulous as fuck.
I think what's going on with the impeachment hearings right now and some of the things that I've been hearing going on outside of the impeachment hearings disappoints me about our society as a whole. And a lot of the late night comedians, our late night talk show hosts, have actually touched on this with people talking about the impeachment hearings being boring. And I'm sitting here like, these are impeachment hearings. I understand that we're living in the circus of Donald Trump right now, where everything has to be some massive to-do. But this is
it does get like tiring listening to it after a certain amount of time, just because like these people talk in monotone, fucking neutral voices, and they make it as boring as physically fucking possible so people don't tune in. That's how they work. That's their fucking thing.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to make this as boring as possibly sounding so that people don't fucking listen and they fucking, like, they don't get an opinion on it.
Well, you saw what happened with Oliver North. You saw the impeachment trials or I don't know if you saw any of that stuff with Bill Clinton. It's all the same thing. It sounds like this. It's not a fucking show. You're not watching Judge Judy. You're literally watching somebody. We're trying to impeach the president, and it's a long, drawn out proceeding.
Yeah. Which at this point, I'm sorry, but like, what's the point of impeaching him in the last year?
The point of impeaching him in the last year would be to prevent a second term.
Yeah.
At this point, it's sort of just we've already got the open wound. At this point, we're trying to sew it up and keep it from continuing to ooze and bleed.
I mean, I'm on the fence with like, what's the point of impeaching him in the last year to like, if we had impeached him sooner, we would have ended up with Pence, who is significantly worse. He's not a fucking like complete clown, but he's sadistic and he's significantly fucking worse, and he's still. You
want to talk about The Handmaid's Tale? You want that as soon as he became president.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the fucking thing. Like, this guy is all for fucking, like, electroshock therapy and fucking conversion therapy and all that shit. Like, this guy's fucked up.
Yeah, he's just...
for the love of my son, I am glad that they did not try to impeach Trump a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Putting Pence in Trump's place would have been no better, if not worse.
I honestly believe it would have been significantly worse, just because Trump is the kind of person who's like, I'm doing all this fucked up shit, but I don't give a fuck who knows.
Right.
He fucking announces it with pride. Pence, on the other hand, is the kind of like fucked up secretive guy that's gonna start doing all this fucked up shit behind closed doors, behind the fucking curtain.
The closet Nazi.
Pence is an uber Christian Putin.
Yes!
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. I want to say, like, he is, like, CIA, KGB sneaky.
Yeah.
That being said, I would like to wake up alive in my house the next morning, so,
I don't give a shit, bro!
It worries me.
I'm a millennial, I want to die anyway!
It worries me. It really does worry me. Like, this is becoming the kind of world...
worried if you wake up dead, though.
If I wake up dead, then
how are you gonna wake up dead, though?
He said he wants to wake up alive.
I want to wake up alive.
I was gonna say, yeah, but like, you can't wake up dead. You can't wake up if you're dead.
I like to wake up.
I've watched enough movies. It could happen. We just need some sort of nuclear rainstorm or a comet to pass by.
Just get the Chinese people who are doing the fucking experiments on, like, dogs and pigs and shit, bringing back fucking lifeless corpse.
Reanimator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah, they're on that Reanimator shit.
Make enough money, maybe have somebody clone me. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I mean, I don't think I'm, like, special enough to get the Chinese government to start doing some Reanimator shit on me after fucking Trump fucking assassinates me, but...
Reanimator, by the way, definitely should do that for one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I don't know. I'm feeling... I don't know if I feel cynical about the whole impeachment thing because I want it to happen so bad that I don't think it could happen just because there's so much money in the middle of everything. I'm just watching and waiting because I also know politics and how it moves, and when there's money, you can expect anything to happen but justice.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm trying not to keep my hopes up, but I did enjoy seeing that, reading about Roger Stone getting found guilty, and he's gonna start.
Yep.
He has his sentencing hearing in February. Like almost everybody that have collaborated that closely with this guy is in trouble, basically.
Oh yeah.
Well, he surrounds himself with corrupt individuals and people who are more than willing to go that extra mile for their own self-benefit.
But they're really good people. The best.
Great people.
The best
Great
at
people.
what, though? They're not even that good at being
They're
corrupt
they're-
or lying.
they're
They all
best
got
at
caught.
being fucking sadistic.
You sounded just like him when you said that.
Right? They're really good people. They're the best. I've never known anyone to be as good as these fucking molesters.
Yes.
I feel like
beyond everything.
Bite your tongue for just a minute. I'm going to say something. You're going to say something. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy for a second, but hear me out.
Just 1 second.
I am actually, for one major reason, happy that Donald Trump is president. See, there you go.
Shame!
But
Where's the shame bell?
Tell me, if he had not become president, how many of these people would still be flying under the radar?
It's true.
It's true. You're
Okay.
right.
But like a lot of...
Well, honestly, okay, so, like, a lot of these people wouldn't even be in their position if it wasn't for Trump.
Exactly. He took, literally,
He put all of these fucked up people on a fucking platform.
You want to talk about draining the swamp? Okay. One of his things. He took people that by no means should have ever been in the positions they were, including his own family.
Yep.
People that did not have this kind of light shed on them in the past. Took people that could not handle this kind of light being shed on them and put them right up on a pedestal in front of everybody.
Yep.
How many of these fuckers have gone to jail? How many of these people have been called out? How many of these people are now dead?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You've got people, everybody held Rudy Giuliani in like
A high standard.
high standards.
Yeah.
And now they're seeing, well, Giuliani is not exactly the most stand-up guy.
Exactly.
He's not the most squeaky clean guy. Yep. Nope. Definitely not.
You got Trump. Everybody knew Trump was Trump.
A piece of shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is definitely not the president we need, but he is definitely the president we currently deserve, based off of how our society's been acting.
God.
It's true.
You can't tell me that you don't walk down the street and you can't run across within 5 seconds of walking. Your average racist asshole, somebody who would just as soon steal from you than give you the time of day. Just by walking down the street. You don't just throw a rock, you'll find somebody.
I mean, I don't recall seeing a whole lot of fucking news about people of color getting acid thrown on them, this and that, like during the Obama eras.
I grew up in a weird area, I guess. I grew up in a little white bread town where everybody knew everybody. I grew up in an area, I don't know, maybe you did too. We're talking probably before you were born.
Probably.
We're both
94. Men
of a certain age, and you're a young lady of a much younger age.
I'm a teeny bopper. I'll admit it.
But growing up, I grew up in an area where I knew everybody around me.
Yep.
Where I live right now, my children don't know anybody at all. They don't talk to anybody. They don't talk to the guy upstairs. They barely talk to the guy downstairs. I don't know anybody that lives down the street even 100 yards.
I mean, these days you can't fucking trust anybody.
And you know what's crazy?
Even your own fucking neighbors. Like, okay, so like, I'm still dealing with my fucking neighbors stealing packages and mail and fucking and paychecks and shit. One of our neighbors stole, like, a person in our apartment's paycheck, cashed it, and there's nothing the fucking cops or the bank can do for us.
That's bullshit. That's something they should have been able to do for that.
There should be something, but they fucking can't, and like it's bullshit. It's not even that they can't, it's that they fucking won't, because they can. They have all the fucking information there.
We got other things we got to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking stupid.
Your little problem, we'll just roll that under the rug.
Put you in the back burner real fast.
Yeah.
But it is true. Especially seeing how, to give you an example, I grew up in such a busy city, such a large and busy city, and everybody in my neighborhood knew everybody.
Right.
Now I live in such a small area, supposed to be a town, and nobody knows even the next door or downstairs or upstairs neighbors.
Right. It's all about, shut up, keep to yourself, don't deal with your neighbors, don't deal with people.
Yep.
And I think that's where we're coming to a head.
I think they have used so many distractions to pretty much kill a sense of community. And I think it's all part of a bigger plan.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like, growing up, my house was, like, the place to be. When, like, among my, like, school friends and the loop rats and all of this. Fucking, we had, like, a group of between, like, 30 and 50 people that would just, like, come hang out at my little tiny cottage over in the middle of Lawrence. And I live literally 2 blocks away from where I used to live on that street. And like, I don't see anybody anymore. I don't talk to anybody anymore. Like, there is exactly what you said. There's no sense of community anymore. No. Half of my friends from back then are dead. Like,
that's where the isolation comes into play.
Yeah, exactly.
So we don't talk to people. We're brought up now to believe that your next door neighbor could be the next person that robs you. You know, you're brought up to believe that you are in direct competition with everybody.
Yep.
So you need to constantly be aware that this person might be trying to get one over on you. Especially when you're talking about lower to middle class society, you're dealing with people that are now, because of social media, because of the fact that you've got a phone in your pocket and it is easier to text somebody than it is to place a phone call. Nobody calls anybody anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
I will sit there and stare at my phone, watching it ring until like it stops, and then I'll text them and be like, "What's up? What do you want?" I'm not picking up the phone. I don't want to talk.
But like this right here, this is most of my social interaction outside of work.
Yeah.
You know.
Me too. I mean, besides tattooing, but that's also work.
But that's not a good thing. It is not a good thing socially. It is not a good thing mentally. And when you are that isolated and you don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, a lot of people are just not trustworthy. But if you spend so much time distrusting people, the people that you actually can trust, the people that you can let into your life, you're not even going to be able to identify them.
You're not going to know them.
You're not going to know who the person is that you can trust.
Yep.
That's a problem. It really is, and it's by design, obviously, because wealthier families, they're very close knit. You know, you got these families that they're. I mean, I don't think that the Trumps lived outside of their own home. They've got several homes. Don't get me wrong; they can afford to buy homes all over the world, but they're a close knit family.
Yeah.
All right, and for a reason, obviously, close knit families keep
criminals.
Keep secrets a little bit well.
They don't keep secrets very well. They are very open about it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Past 4 years, obviously, shit hit the fan for them. If you're president of the United States, your secrets aren't your secrets anymore.
Pretty much.
I think it all went stupid. It's that this dude has always loved to be a center of attention in the spotlight, and that can become addictive because you never have enough of that shit.
The fact that he got everything he ever fucking wanted before the presidency, and then getting the presidency, like, this guy just ultimately believes that he is fucking sent from God, that he is untouchable, that he is a fucking deity of some sort, like...
Okay. And anybody that happens to be listening to our podcast at this point, I should have warned you 2 seconds ago to pull the headphones away from your ears, because honey's going to yell.
I'm so frustrated!
But no, he is... I think this is just for show right now.
Yeah.
Possibly to keep him out of a second term of presidency. I think this is also going to bring to light several other corrupt individuals who are... This is what I'm talking about. This is the only reason why I can appreciate the Trump presidency. Because you're taking people who had been in office. They have been senators. They have been congressmen. They have been mayors, governors. They have been in positions of power for a lengthy period of time. And I don't know why I went to grab for that. And he has put them in his light.
Yeah.
He has basically dragged them out and said, here, we're going to take this guy who I know is a piece of shit. Very good people, whatever. And I know he's a piece of shit, and we're going to get him into office, and we got several people that were appointed to the Supreme Court that definitely should not be Supreme Court justices. Mm-hmm. And thank you, Ginsburg, for holding on as long as you have. Let me tell you, because we could not stand another one in
Facts.
True.
But he has turned the tide of power, and even after he leaves office, everything that has been just shit on in his wake, there's still going to be plenty there. And I think the most important thing that you can, I guess, bring to light is the fact that a vast majority of this country, and he proved it by becoming president, our eyes are closed.
Yeah.
We are more interested in the entertainment value of what we are watching on TV than what is actually happening.
True.
The fact that people, the uneducated, I guess he calls them, I love the uneducated, the fact that a lot of those people voted for him. The uneducated, the lower class, the folks that are just bleeding money out of their pockets and can't survive. People that have to work 2 to 3 jobs a person.
Just to make it to the next paycheck.
Paycheck. The fact that they voted for him shows you how blind that half of this country is.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad.
It is.
Moving on from the ultra-depressing Trump impeachment hearings, we did want to touch on the other subject.
Yes. Okay, so, I just got this article up right now.
Okay.
So, speaking of China earlier, there's been a fucking outbreak of the plague in China. The plague.
The plague,
The plague. That
is a telltale sign of a healthcare crisis worldwide.
So, the Chinese government's response to this month's outbreak of the plague has been marked and causes fear, which history suggests is entirely appropriate, but not all fear is the same. Beijing seems to be afraid of the wrong things. I'm reading this off an article, guys. These are not my words.
Okay.
Rather than being concerned about the germs and their spread, the government seems mostly motivated by a desire to manage public reaction about the disease. Those efforts, however, have failed, and the public's response is now veering towards a sort of plague-inspired panic that's not all justified by the facts.
Okay.
So, I guess there's 3 different strains of the plague.
There's I know bubonic, pneumonic, which is what this is.
Yep.
Bubonic plague was actually the plague that ravaged Europe way back when.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then there's a third version. So the bubonic plague is the one that attacks the lymphic system in your body. Pneumonic plague, I believe, is the one that actually
attacks the lungs. Is the most fatal.
And that's the one that hit.
That's the one that's hitting China fatal right now.
The other plague, the bubonic plague, was the Black Death.
Yes.
Which is highly treatable, actually. The pneumonic plague is the one that's actually quickly fatal.
Septicemic is the other one.
Okay, and then the septicemic plague, which I guess is really unheard of. It's not... But, I mean, I think that's sort of a telltale sign of there being a healthcare crisis pretty much worldwide. That certain folks can't afford healthcare. They can't afford to go to the doctor. So it becomes the idea of going to the doctor and basically accruing a bankruptcy out of the need to stay healthy
Okay, so the septicemic affects the blood.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's like a septic plague, yeah.
Yeah. Hence the name. But, I guess there have been, several small outbreaks of the plague over the past few years. Between the States, China, Europe, all over the world. And it's not getting, actual recognition. It's not getting any fucking light shed on it or any of that. Fucking, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. The government's trying to, just not acknowledge it at all. And everyone and their fucking grandmother that has heard about it is like, Jesus fucking Christ, we're gonna die! This is the plague!
It's not something that should just be swept under the rug.
No, it's definitely not, but
but everybody's going super crazy.
I mean, we are a more advanced society now than back then, and we have, ways of isolating and developing vaccines or fucking treatments or whatever. But that we're still, super far off from, a cure for the plague.
Right.
There is no cure for the plague. You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. You're gonna die.
Okay. You can treat
it.
the other version, bubonic. I think septicemic and the pneumonic plague are the ones that are difficult to treat.
Yeah.
Highly antibiotic resistant. It's not easy to treat. I mean, you're talking a lot of hospital time. But I think that the other one is quickly fatal, if I'm not mistaken.
Pneumonic, I'm pretty sure, can kill within a couple of days.
I am not a physician. I do not have a PhD.
I have no idea
sort.
either. But it's fucking scary, guys.
However, does not prevent me from being worried. Like I said, with this, just specifically this country, I'm not even talking about China. It would be very easy for a plague to ravage this country because of the fact that a vast majority of us can't afford to go to a doctor. So you'll ignore signs that are going on. It hurts.
I'm working multiple jobs and I still can't go to the fucking doctor because I fucking can't afford it. I can't afford to pay $550 fucking dollars for a fucking physical therapist to tell me to stretch.
You know, the medical insurance through my job, for a family of three, because it would be myself, my wife, and my son, to be able to get insured would cost me almost $700 a month, and that's
like
just
a whole
to have
fucking paycheck.
That is just to have insurance that will still ask me for a copay for this, a copay for that. I still have to pay down a deductible to be able to.
It's fucking outrageous. Why are we not on board with universal health care?
Exactly.
I think healthcare should be treated like they treat Social Security. Basically, it's a separate thing. It comes out of your paycheck each month, and everybody pays into it. So it's not just me, it's not just you getting separate private healthcare. And the reason why that doesn't happen is exactly the reason why we're having our little presidential issue right now.
Yep.
And it is because there is a certain section of society that controls a vast majority of things. And I know this sounds very conspiracy theory-esque, but
someone call
you know what? It's the truth, though.
You got to call it out when you see it.
Yeah.
And it's the wealthy kind of control.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez fucking called out Big Pharma on why the fuck insulin costs fucking $10 out in Australia, but the same company that's giving it to them is charging us $800 fucking dollars for a shot. Are you kidding me? That's fucked up. That's disgusting.
Because it's life-saving medication
on people who can't control a disease that they have.
Yeah, they need to control us, and in certain ways they need to control the money. And it's we can get $800 for them. The people in Australia aren't going to fucking deal with that shit.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we got time for a very quick pitch storm. Very quick. And then we are pretty much done for the day. Miss B has got other places to go. So here, you pick just one. Take one.
Places to go, people to do.
You pick one. Pick one, sir.
This gives me flashbacks of middle school. Oh my god.
All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Oh, fuck me. All right. All right. A hip rapping youth pastor struggles to adjust to civilian life after returning home from the war. So we don't know what war we're talking about here. And our supporting notes here is, let's add Redneck Jesus as a supporting character.
Oh my god! That is fucking perfect!
So a hip rapping youth pastor who, I'm going to guess is hallucinating Redneck Jesus, comes home from the war. So what war are we talking about, first of all? If we're going to make it current, it would be the war, I guess, in Afghanistan or whatever's going on.
Let's make it a civil war in the United States against the fucking abortion bans. What's up, bitches?
Civil war in the United States. I feel like before it becomes an abortion ban thing, I think if we have a civil war in the United States,
it's
the civil war is going to be
Democrat versus Republican thing.
It's going to be either Democrat versus Republican. It's going to be 99 versus 1.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be.
I'm hoping for the 99.
Hell, we are actually quickly coming
There's power
to
in numbers.
Yeah.
We're quickly
money and all.
coming to race wars on several different levels.
We were doing so good.
We were. Or we thought we were doing good.
No, you're right. We thought we were doing good because, you know, we had Obama, we had all of this whole, like, fucking equality and freedom of speech and fucking, we had all of this shit. We were doing good. We were being inclusive of, like, out of the norm fucking communities. And then Trump comes in on his horse of bullshit.
On his horse of bullshit.
You know,
I love it.
Trump came in and laid the world
on
wrong.
a flaming horse of bullshit to fucking give these racists and homophobes and sexists fucking pedestals.
Gave him a
We
platform.
thought we were doing good, but all these people were just hiding in the woodwork.
I think that's what the main issue was, is that
he brought them all to light, and
He
now
gave
you
them
know
a
that they
platform.
do exist.
Yeah, like he gave them a platform. They were never gone. They were just, you know, keeping their heads in the sand until someone came around that made it feel like it was okay for them to be pieces of shit.
think about it. The YouTube movement came out very, very, very late, by the way. It should have came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
And, we had all sorts of things. They were becoming unacceptable. You know, it was like the PC police just came out of the woodworks and said, "No, fuck no, we're not doing this shit anymore."
Yeah.
You're gonna become the person that all the Christians say they are, but they're really not. You're gonna become the all-inclusive, all-loving. You need to be accepting of this. You need to be accepting of this. You need to be accepting of this. And all the homophobes and the racists and all the other things went into hiding, and they kept it to themselves. And they had their little meetings over here, and they all kind of hid. And then Trump became president, and they said, "Well, fuck, we can do this again. Let's go out in public and do what we do."
Yeah. It's bullshit.
So yeah. Anyway, hip rapping young youth pastor. We're still doing tea time with honey here. We're not doing
Yeah, right?
pitch storm.
These are things
It's
we
spilling over.
You all know these are things we feel strongly about.
So
It
hip
happens.
rapping youth pastor. I want Chance the Rapper
Okay.
as I liked him in Slice.
Yeah.
I think he did a good job as the
And
werewolf.
He's a very charismatic dude, and he's not a bad actor.
Redneck Jesus, Post Malone.
Yes! Oh my god!
I think Chris Rock would be a good redneck Jesus. Somebody more southern.
Billy Ray
at least.
Cyrus.
Billy Ray Cyrus could be redneck Jesus. Just give him a little beard and let his hair grow out a little more. Lose a little weight.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh my god.
There you go. Yeah, that
Redneck
one
Jesus. Okay, so I was thinking Post Malone. I was keeping it,
In
musical,
the rap,
but
in the music spectrum.
the reason why I was saying
Me,
Chance
Post
the
Malone is
Rapper
not a
and
rapper.
Post Malone is because if you want to give it sort of a musical
Yeah,
aspect,
exactly. Like, they
then
got
they
it.
could go at each other,
Yeah,
kind of like,
and, like, they've got decent music.
Yeah.
right? So you could actually put a decent soundtrack together. These guys just kind of going at each other.
Yeah.
So is it alright? We just stick with Post Malone. I like.
I like Posty.
But I think your other friends there, we should actually, make it part of the movie there, too. I like Foxworthy and Cyrus.
I
And,
like Billy Ray Cyrus for Redneck Jesus because
Yeah.
he's really a redneck gang. He could pull off Jesus.
I say this is part of the congregation that he has to deal with.
Okay.
So we got Foxworthy and we got Billy Ray Cyrus out there. People that he's got to deal with on a daily basis, and Redneck Jesus is giving him advice, but not exactly the best advice.
All right.
A few cameos by Black Jesus would be nice from Adult Swim.
How do you keep getting in here, Sugar?
And yep, Sugar has come to join us on the podcast again.
I'm sure
Showing some love. Give me some sugar.
She just likes to jump up with people. It's fine if she comes in here. It's So, all right. So he is struggling to return to civilian life. So this is a home front war. We're dealing with wars on several different levels. This is how I feel a civil war is going to happen in our country. It's going to start on one subject, and much like every fucking protest that we have tried to put together in the past 4 years, it is going to devolve into the kind of chaos that it's like, well, I'm fighting for this, and you got people that are fighting on a racial level, you got people that are fighting on a financial and political level, you got people that are fighting on a level that is just, well, legalization of pot, you know.
Hey, squeaker. We're not going to have squeaky things.
So, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of Miss Sugar real quick. I'm gonna throw this out the door, and you're gonna shut the door. You gotta push it till it clicks. Here we go. Okay, now shut the door and push it till it clicks.
There we go.
And we have gotten rid of the dog, and she's probably gonna whine and whimper at the door, but I don't know.
What a baby.
Sugar has, I think, joined us on a couple of podcasts and kind of jumped
there
up
she
and
goes.
whimpered and jingled and jangled but no squeak toys.
She just needs some sugar.
No squeak toys during the podcast. But I feel that's what our civil war is going to be. It's going to be civil, and then it is going to be fucking anarchy. Because everybody... You cannot get an entire country together. At this point, you couldn't get this country together. Even during 9/11, we were barely together. It devolved from this country coming together and supporting each other to a race war real fucking quick when every Muslim was just targeted. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
It did. It became
ugly.
Pretty shitty real quick.
Yeah,
so we were all
truly ugly.
We were all proud of ourselves, all fucking kumbaya for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden it was fear. It was fear-mongering against race and religion.
Yeah.
That's how I feel another civil war is going to go in this country. It's going to start all fucking kumbaya with everybody, you know, all behind each other. Yeah, we believe in this and we believe in this, and then it's just going to devolve into little sections, and soon it's going to be hundreds of different wars being fought on different fronts. It's just going to be fucking anarchy.
Yeah.
Because unless we as a society can figure out how to get our heads out of our respective asses, and I'm not saying just, you know, the fucking racists, and I'm not saying just Joe Schmo, you know, whatever. I'm not saying the Trump supporters or the fucking Clinton supporters or the rednecks or the fucking Christians or whatever. I'm just saying everybody.
All of them.
In general. We are all kind of strapped to our telephones.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm dealing with my client right now.
That's alright, yeah. Miss Honey's gotta get to her client pretty soon.
Yeah, she's already there apparently.
Well, she said 11:45. She
said 11:45, 12.
And she got to jump on it.
Yeah.
Well, she's going to be waiting for a few minutes.
She's going to be waiting.
Patience. Patience, my dear, is the name of the game today. So,
this is rich. A youth pastor suffering from PTSD.
Okay.
So I want to say, yeah, he's suffering from PTSD. He thinks he's found Jesus because Jesus now follows him around everywhere he fucking goes. He can't even sleep. This guy is in his dreams. This guy is there every waking moment of his life now.
We should give that whole situation as an origin story. How did he become hallucinating on redneck Jesus?
I want to say that he was in the military. He's a pastor by trade, but he
probably sounds some peyote.
He got drafted into the war.
He's a young guy. Got drafted because this is a big thing.
Home front war. Yeah.
It's a home front war, and I want to say that his squad, much like a lot of guys that end up coming back home, just basically got devastated right in front of him. He's dealing with people bleeding out, people that he loved and he knew on a personal level dead. You know, you're dealing with loss of... When you're talking about a civil war, it's brother against brother.
Yeah.
You know, so just like our civil war, we haven't learned from our past at all. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with... He maybe had to shoot his brother, or he had to shoot somebody he knew, you know... Depended upon how things went. And he comes home. When you say come home from a war, especially when you're talking about a civil war, you're not coming home from the war. The war's still going on.
Exactly. It's like, it's still there. No matter where you go, fucking, like, it's gonna be there. No, fucking, for the rest of your life. You can't fucking turn around anywhere and walk down the street without hallucinating, your friends being dead in the fucking street right there.
We're going to go ahead and turn this off. I don't know what just happened, but my computer just brought up like 5 different articles on the impeachment hearings by itself.
It's a virus.
So, the impeachment hearings in general is a virus.
Yeah. This administration is a virus. It's a cancer.
Our political system is currently a virus.
Yeah.
That being said, all right, so let's see. We're taking what could be it could be a heavy message. So you could have a little bit of fun with this movie, but it could also be very heavy.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the future. Could be a couple of years in the future. Could be a couple decades in the future. You don't know. Either way, this pastor has come home and he is taking over his congregation again. He had somebody kind of looking after things for him. Now, this congregation is mostly of older folks, because this is a civil war. If there was a draft put in place, most younger folks would have been taken out. So what you got left are you got people that have been drummed out of the war via injury, disability. You've got people that could not be brought into the war via the draft. Most of those are just people that are just not healthy enough. So this is your congregation. These are people that were not healthy enough, too old, or actually have come back home because they are now disabled and can no longer be a functional part of the war. So who do you think? Who else do you think we should bring into this?
I kind of want to see David Spade in there.
I need some people that could play a good post-war maniac personality. I'm thinking a couple of wrestlers like Steve Austin.
Steve Austin would be
one
good.
Of his buddies that fought alongside him, and he's cuckoo.
I want to say Steve Austin. We do a little bit of green screen, and we give Steve Austin's a double amputee. He doesn't have legs anymore.
Yeah.
So he is wheelchair bound. A wheelchair bound Steve Austin.
Yeah, but
who is being pushed around by his brother, played by David Spade.
But he's pretty intense. Still pretty intense. If I had legs, things like that.
But I think like his smaller brother, he hates it.
Yeah.
But this is David Spade that's pushing him around. His smaller little redneck brother has to push him everywhere.
With a mullet and just being verbally abusive to him.
Because the powers that be won't afford him anything but just a regular old wheelchair.
Yeah.
And he can't use his hands. So he may be a double amputee, but there's something that happened to him. He can't use his hands, so he can't wheel himself around. He doesn't have an electric chair to push him around, so he has to have his brother.
All right.
Somehow pretty muscular still, and very intense. When he argues with his brother, he will say all kinds of crazy shit that he cannot do because, obviously, he's disabled.
I want to say it's a recent development. So he's been drummed out. So basically how healthcare goes around here, they get him to the point where they can fix him up, and he's done. They don't need it. They need the hospital bed, so they just push him out. There you go. You're done. Well, I can't use my hands anymore. Well, we can't afford, as a country, to afford your physical therapy so you can use your hands. And we're just going to slap you in this wheelchair and push you out the door, and you're done.
Yeah.
Well, what about all this other stuff? I need a handicapped ramp, or I need a van or something. Nope, sorry, we can't afford to get those things for you either. So unless you're able to afford it yourself, well, I've been fighting the war for you for the past decade. I can't afford it myself. You guys didn't pay me enough. Oh, I'm sorry. That's kind of how our healthcare works right now. I'm sorry, we can't do that.
That's exactly how it works, and fucking it's disgusting.
Pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
So
there's good space for social commentary in the whole thing, also.
Yeah.
Right. So you could treat it comedically, but you could also add plenty of social commentary to it as well. Which I like the idea of. There's not a lot of things that are approached with a decent amount of social commentary anymore. They just want stupid comedy.
Yeah.
Just like let's put something up there. It's just dumb all the way through.
I mean, I like the whole light comedic fucking relief, but I really like the whole, like, touching on current issues.
Like, I wanted to have almost like a Tropic Thunder feel.
Yeah!
Yes.
But home front Tropic Thunder.
Exactly!
You know?
You know, without the white guy playing an actor as a white guy playing a black guy.
That was pretty funny, though.
That was pretty funny, but, like, nowadays we could never do something like that.
No. Well, I think if anybody could pull that off again, it would be Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled it off with such a comedic flair that just...
Yeah. Actually, there were people that wanted to whine about it, but other people, of course, would be like, man, he did good. It was funny as hell. Shut the fuck up. It's pretty much how it went down. And it was true. It was fucking excellent. I'll say it myself.
But, like, it was just a white actor who was just so self-involved that he thought that he could be anything, including black.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he committed. He committed to that role.
He committed to a point that is like a half-hour, 45-minute video that if you find it on YouTube, like, of him with that family that he had from Vietnam, like, him just going through all sorts of PTSD after the war. PTSD after being in Vietnam for one day, literally.
Yes.
So, yeah, he really committed to the point that he was a little
out there.
All right, so there you go. There's a guy that we should bring into this. We should bring Robert Downey Jr. into this.
I love him.
Definitely.
Robert Downey Jr. should be. He's constantly trying. He's the sergeant. He's Chance the Rapper's sergeant. He's trying to bring him back.
He was a sergeant in the military, and he probably follows his ministry or whatever. And because
I don't think that we should have him as part of the ministry. So he's
just,
home.
Just in his memories. And
I
stuff?
think this is like flashbacks. Like he's dealing with all the stuff that he had to deal with overseas. He's constantly seeing in flashbacks. So
I would like. Let me see.
Overseas.
We already have Steve Austin.
Over state lines.
Yeah, but we need somebody. We need a few crazy people like that.
So if we got crazy, you want crazy? I think that you should.
Well, not necessarily. Yeah, crazy, but some less intense than others. I'm thinking somebody that pretty much went mute because of the whole traumatizing experience too.
Yeah.
You know who plays a good crazy? Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Michael Keaton plays a really good crazy.
Yes, definitely. I would like Michael Keaton and Bill Murray.
And I want one guy who's a little lesser known unless you watch a lot of TV. The guy that played Red on that 70s show.
Yes. Oh my God.
That'd
be perfect.
Crazy.
So I think him and maybe even Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott will play a good crazy.
Well, Sam Elliott doesn't need to be. I think you're talking mute. You're talking a guy that can bring a strong presence without having to say much. And
yeah,
Sam Elliott is
and
that
be
guy.
like, he could talk. He just doesn't.
I think that
something like that. You know what I mean?
I think that Sam Elliott, because that voice that he has, I think that he only says things when it is important to say things. He will come up with like a 2-sentence something and then just not speak. Won't reply. Won't anything.
No.
Just
short, super short. Shut the fuck up and never speak again.
And I want a draft dodger. I want a draft dodger who's constantly hiding out in the church, played by Jason Mewes. What do you think?
Yes!
Super perfect.
We don't need to have Silent Bob with Jay. We just want Jay. I like Kevin Smith, don't get me wrong, but
I love Jason Mewes so much.
You guys, add some more to this. I keep throwing things out there.
Well,
flesh it out for me.
It could take place... Like, the way the story take place should be...
Texas.
Like, Texas will be good, but also pretty much from scenes to scenes related to something from the Bible that we either try to either debunk or challenge.
Yeah.
Like, the way it happens in real life, you know what I mean?
Right. So I want to...
Probably stuff that Christians don't talk much about because that's the finger they're pointing at other religions.
The 10 plagues in Egypt was scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that these aren't miracles or anything. It was all caused by a volcano erupting.
Right. It was, oh, God.
Yeah, no, all kinds of radiation make people sick related from it.
They've even scientifically proven the existence of of Jesus as well. These are stories that are
Jesus did exist. The problem with
the problem with
a lot of religions.
Miracles aren't actually miracles.
This is the problem with religions, in my view, is that people that don't believe, I blame for people that don't believe.
Just like Noah's Ark.
I put the blame on people that believe way too much and just twist stories and twist things how they happen, and that's why some people don't believe. For example, I believe in God with all my heart, but most of the Bible I really don't believe, because it seems
I don't believe in that shit. It
feels like a whole thing to control.
I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in God or any of that shit. I know that it's all a fucking cult. That's what it is. Christianity, religion in general, it's all a fucking cult. And these quote-unquote miracles can be scientifically proven. Therefore, they're not miracles. They're just little science experiments.
When it comes right down to it, the only reason why I have a trouble with religion is, even if you're taking the Bible and you're looking at it as a good set of rules, guidelines to follow.
Yeah.
Even if you take it at just that basic level, most congregations, most churches have strayed so far from that particular message that they're only in existence to serve themselves. There is no reason why the church down the street over here should be on a different message and completely disassociated with the church that's over here.
Exactly.
At all. There's no reason why you should go to this church, and this church has its own community, and this church over here has its own community, and neither of them interact. And neither of them are on the same level trying to work with each other towards what would be the greater good, I guess.
Yeah.
The greater good that they constantly preach from the Bible, which they can't seem to figure out how to do for anything but themselves. Well, we're doing this for our own greater good, our own spiritual ascension, and if you are not on the same page as us, well, there is a nice place for you down there. It's kind of warm.
Ultimately, I can blame anybody for not believing in none of this because of the way religious people had just twisted everything around.
Yeah.
I can. I know I believe, but I do not judge people for not believing, because people that don't believe anything
people take
is
it
really
too far.
They just take it way too far and blow shit out of proportion.
All I gotta say at this point is, if you're a good Christian and you're standing behind Donald Trump,
then you're not really Christian.
Be careful, because the wind's blowing the wrong direction.
You're in the wrong side of history, damn it.
So, I think that we're tying things up for today. Miss Nico has got to get up and get to...
Yes!
And
I gotta
her
get to
appointment.
work.
Oh, so you got your equipment and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Can I see?
She is ready for work.
I'm like a little teenage kid when it comes to
she is a tattoo artist. An artist.
She's a tattoo artist and illustrator.
Right. So, thank you for tuning in and listening once again, and we will be back next week with a little bit more fun, and we are actually dropping a podcast midweek.
Woo!
I'm doing another couple of buffers on Tuesday and Wednesday with Seth.
Nice.
But I'm going to drop one midweek just to kind of keep him as part of the podcast.
Yeah.
I did one for Blind Rutger Hauer and Blind Fury.
Good shit.
So,
Blind Fury.
Fury.
That was a good film.
That was a good film. I definitely agree with you. That being said,
bye guys.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Follow Miss B on TikTok again.
Honey be kind.
Honey be kind. Honey.b.kind. And love you until you hate us, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll still love you.